So hello everyone. So it's a really nice day. We can gather the come and we have college together, and then I can deliver a talk to talk about the work of our game labs and talk about what's Metaverse and how we can implement better learning and intervention inside the Metaverse. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Dr. Peter from Department of Computing. I'm also the person in charge of Game Lab in P503. So we set up Game Lab at 2005. Yeah, so it's a long time ago, right? And then at the very beginning, it's just a small lab, and then we do the game research, and also we create some games. So we publish the game in export, in PC, in mobile, in iOS, Android, etc., etc. But around 10 years ago, so our previous department has asked me, hey Peter, so what is the value of game lab? Okay, so you create games, but somehow because we do not have funding to do advertisement, so we can only won the award in different competition. We can prepare the career path for our graduates, but somehow I cannot see the impact of game lab. Yes, it's a really tough questions, right? So at that time, we start to think what is the value of game lab and how can we create the impact. So around 2014, we start to have a concept called Game Plus. Game Plus here, okay, Game Plus. And then we try to use some new technologies in computer science, including chatbot, computer visions, mixed reality, VR, AR games, yellow, flat, master CNN into our game, so that we want to bring some cutting edge technologies into our game. So here, so we build Google Cardboard before the Googles. That's really fun, right? And later on, because we have the lots of interesting game applications, so we want to find some application area. So that's why later on we picked up another core value of our game that we emergence game, whether we can use the game technologies, gamifications, or game design, game platform, game environment, etc., to help different underprivileged group. So we try to move to the ESG and health, and we create different apps for different underprivileged group. For example, the SEN student, and for example, the elderly. 2 years ago, our teaching and all sorts of our physical activity is affected by COVID-19. So that's why we try to explore, is there any option that we can do the virtual events or virtual teaching better? So that's why we moved to Metaverse, okay? So today, if you are interested in our lessons or in our lecture, so you can also scan this QR code. So this is a virtual walkthrough of our game lab, and then you find that my presentation is not attractive, you can just have a look with the virtual results and then click on the video, so you can have a look with all sorts of our demonstration. So for of the presentation today, so I will use a 5 or 10 minutes to explain what is the work of Game Lab and what we have done in this 5 to 6 years. And then, yeah, we talk about the Metaverse, right? So we want to give you some basic idea about the Metaverse. So we have the Metaverse fundamental. Okay, so we try to analyze the market, and then we try to analyze the research of different companies, and then give you somehow a brief idea about what is Metaverse, and then what is the trend of Metaverse. Later on, we'll share our experience of better learning in Metaverse. So we have implement better learning, constructive teaching in Metaverse. So we will also explain our strategy, implementation, evaluation, and tell you that what is GameFi and what is our next step in teaching and learning. We will go through briefly about the intervention in XR, because we have to do a lot. Again, we'll go through our strategy, implementation, and evaluation, and what is our next step. So we create lots of the apps for the SEN students, special education needs. And then we take care about the dyslexia. So we have created lots of the interesting virtual environments for the dyslexia, so that they can learn the Chinese and then they can learn the English throughout the VR and AR environment. For example, this app. So this is a virtual environment. So if you read the wording inside, and then if you highlight the wordings. So we can search the YouTube videos inside the YouTube, and we can send you into another immersive environment. For example, here we want to search the information about river, so we will directly find the river information on the YouTube and show you the 360-degree video. We also create lots of the apps for the PMLD, profound and multi-learning disability. So we create VR, we create AR apps for them so that they can learn in other ways to them to improve their learning behavior and also their learning style. So we want to find lots of different alternative ways for the ASEAN student to learn. Next slide. So beside the ASEAN student, we also take care about the elderly. So we have prepared different VR environments for them to do different interventions. For example, this one here is the Reminius screen, Reminius 50 for the dementia. So we want to send back the elderly to 1970 or 1960 to 1970 their living environment so that they can play with the old equipment, so they can operate the TV, so they can operate the different and we remember their living style again in the good old time. So this one is how we house the witness therapy, how we help the elderly about the health dementia. We also prepare some apps for the aphasia. So some elderly, they have the difficulty with the speech. So this is the speech therapy. So beside the traditional way that asking them to read the wordings from the newspaper or read the wordings from the name tag, etc., we try to provide a VR environment, and then we try to detect their gesture. For example, just like me, right? So when I'm deliver our talk, I try to move my hand. Okay, I try to move my hand. So we try to um, detect this kind of gesture and help the elderly to remind the wording that they want to pronounce and then they want to present to the others. We also create different interesting input device for the elderly to to help them to do some memory games or cognitive games. Yes, we always want to create some interesting HCI, human computer interface for different people. So beside using the VR or beside using the AR equipment, so we want to do something more. For example, this one. So we use the neural volume rendering to do the motion generation. So we try to use the vertex shader and also the pixel shader. We detect here we detect the texture from the real physical object, and try to put the real physical object into the animations and then generate the motions of the real door. For example, this one. So this a deformable physical toys. So we try to detect the texture of these toys, and then we map the texture into the animation so that you can see a real door or real-time scanning door, and then they will display the true texture to you and then animate for it. We also want to do more about the HCI and take care of the other elderly. So now we are doing the animal computer interface. We use the real animal and with the master CNN and chatbot to build some interesting application. For example, here we try to use the master CNN to detect the motion of the fish. Okay, so the fish will act like a pet therapy, or it will act like a medium to communicate with elderly. So when the elderly take care about the fish, it helps the elderly to build the empathy and also build the care. And the fish, throughout the master CRL, throughout the analyze the motion of the fish is able to talk with the elderly. So the fish will care about the daily, for example, remind them to take the medicines, or remind them to do the exercise, or remind them to take the food, etc. They will also sing a song with the elderly and also take care about the elderly. So we combine the cutting edge technologies and want to Game Plus. We try to use the new technology, cutting edge technologies, and then put it back in our daily life to take care the underprivileged group. That means the we game. So that is the concept of our game lab. We also do lots of the apps for the teaching and learning. So we build different situations. We will create. We have created lots of the scenario, VR scenario. So the student will study inside this VR scenario, and we also convert it into apps. So they will do the reflection inside. They will do the MC. They will do different tutorial questions inside. So beside the just prepare the 360-degree videos, we also prepare the corresponding teacher and learning activity inside it. Next one. During the COVID-19, we also connect with different NGO government organizations and then prepare the VR tool and prepare some virtual lab, machine learning, computer vision lab for the primary school in Hong Kong. And game labs, we always is the hubs of game designer and also game developer in Hong Kong. So every year we create a global game jam, and we try to organize all the game developer in Hong Kong, and then they can communicate with each other, brainstorm with some new games idea, and then they will create new games within 48 hours. So we connect with CTU, we connect with IP, we connect with HKCT, we connect with HKDI, etc., etc. So Hong Kong is one of the biggest game jam sites in the world. As I remember, we are always the top 10. And in this 45 minutes, so we are going to talk new things, because here together we have the come and we have also the out escalate. So we pick up some interesting idea, hot topic that is related to both of us. So we try to mention something that relate to Metaverse, which is a very hot topic, and then we try to discuss how can we do the teacher and learning inside the Metaverse. So there are lots of definitions about the metaverse, right? So when you search from the Google, so there are lots of definitions. So you can find the structure of the metaverse. Some of them, they present the structure of the metaverse just like onions. So infrastructure and then human interface, decentralized, blah, 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 go to the user experience. Some of them, they use the unions, union structure of the to define the metaverse. So AI, mixed reality, real-time communication, blockchain, so they are all relate to each other and connect with each other. And if you go back to the real industrial structure of the metaverse, you can find there are lots of the company, they step into the metaverse and then they try to develop different new technologies. For example, they develop visualization and digital twins for the metaverse. They develop the ad tech and marketing to push the advertisements to metaverse. They develop VR, they develop AR, they develop new economy environments for the people in metaverse, etc., etc. But yeah, for the tap people, when they need to talk with the other, it's really hard to divide the metaverse into such kind of small area and find out the solution one by one. So what we are going to do, we are going to have our own definition, which can help the technical guys and non-technical guys to develop metaverse in a more convenient way. So the wording of metaverse coming from the wordings of universe, right? So we are living in the same universe. So we are here. Our Earth is here. It's great that few months ago we have the movie about the Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange travels from our Earth to different universe. So maybe the universe in C, maybe it's in 2D, maybe it's in plane. So to come up with different universe, that means they have different physics and sociology settings. For the physics settings, they may have different artistic. So they may use different paint, different 2D or different pixel, and also the vertex render for the visualization of the metaverse. They also present different ways of interaction. For example, in our Earth, we have gravity. Maybe in another universe, they do not have gravity. That means when you rise up an object, and then when you release the object will not fall down. So they are going to redefine the physical settings of the world. So define the lighting, define the rendering, define the artistic, and also define how the virtual object they are interact with each other. And of course, in different society, we need to define the outcome. We need to define the user role, and then we need to define the society setting. So for our understanding about the universe, we need to define another physical world and other sociology and other social settings of our world. So when we look back at this logo, Meta, at the very beginning, we think that this is about the mega data, right? Data about data. So yeah, there is not metaverse, right? So they want to connect different apps together, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc., etc. So in their definition, VR is not the one and only one virtual world in their setting. So they will think that WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, all of them are one universe, and then they want to find out the core value or core communication way to connect with different virtual world. So immersive doesn't mean that we need to use VR, we need to use AR to present an immersive world. So if our segment is good enough, so even throughout the wordings, I can also bring you into another immersive world. Okay, so this is also called immerse. This is also called universe. So that's why Oculus is only one part, VR is only one part of their metaverse settings. So if you're looking at their logo is pretty good, right? Their logo design is pretty good. So this Meta design combine the meaning of connect, infinity, and the most important thing is understanding. So this a logo of Tree of Life is somehow about the new age, right? So if you are new age people, so you have heard about the Tree of Life, and then you know that this is the meanings of understanding. So come back to the definition, our definition of metaverse. So we'll say that the metaverse combine of two things: physics, sociology, and economy. Physics means that we need to define a virtual world, another virtual world. So we need to define the artistic, we need to define the rules of interaction of each virtual object. So logic, we want to define the interactions and then communication with each virtual user. So for example, Facebook defined the light, right? So this is one of the brilliant communications inside the social media. That's why Facebook success in the last 10 or 15 years. And how we can find out the core or interesting interactions or communication between different parties. For example, in a cocktail party, right? So in the cocktail party, they walk around and then talk with each other. They will hold a glass of wine, and then they will drink, and then they will discuss with each other. So we have done a research. Lots of the people thinks that the magical moment inside the cocktail party is a thing. That means that when you using your glass of wine to touch another people's glass of wine, okay, to cheer, that's trick moment is the magic moment inside the cocktail. So can we find the magic moment of different communication or different situations? I guess the answer is yes. So we can do it inside the teacher and learning. We can do it inside different, for example, during the seminar. So we can find out the interesting points about communications and interactions. And the last one we have to understand is about yes, we have the universe, right? So physics and sociology, they are parts of the universe. And if we want to share the value with different universe, so we need to define another thing. We need to define a reward system and how this kind of reward can be exchanged throughout different universe, and it makes the metaverse happens. Okay, so we inside the economy, we also need to care about the GameFi and also the digital ownership. So this three part and this three question is our definition. And then when we need to talk with the other, we always ask, if you want to define a new metaverse or new universe, so how can you provide a solution of these three parts? So another broader ways to understand the metaverse. So we have lots of the universe, we have lots of the universe, we have lots of the universe. So if you use the GameFi and digital ownership, so or somehow we have the SSO single sign-on system. So we can exchange the value of different universe and then combine into a huge metaverse and become the settings of metaverse. The trend of the metaverse. So every day when you go to Google or when you read the news from different social media or different mass media, so you can find billions of money US dollar they will pump into the metaverse market. So it's easy to find all sorts of news inside the internet. So we will try to do it in this way to analyze the trend of the metaverse. So we analyze the money, the investment, and also we analyze the research paper from the company. So we try to make our predictions. So we try to looking at two big company and what they are going to do at this moment. So we're looking at Microsoft and we're looking at Facebook, of course, Facebook, Meta, okay? So Microsoft, they start their work from workspace. Okay, so they create the Windows and then they create the Office. They create the Teams. They create all sorts of the of Power Automate, etc. They create all sorts of tools, SharePoint, OneDrive, to improve the productivity of workspace. Okay, so they focus on the office work, they focus on the workspace, and then they try to extend this kind of user experience to home. Okay, so you have a familiar working environment, right? So you extend this kind of the things that you have learned from your office to your home. So our prediction is Microsoft, they will still focus on workspace, and then they will try to develop some metaverse that is focused on how you can improve your productivity inside the virtual space. So that's why they have prepared the match for Teams, and then I guess they will try to combine the office, they'll try to combine the Teams, all sorts of things together into an office setting. So they will provide good environment for you to speed up the connection, to speed up the discussion, to speed up the productivity of your meeting or productivity of your work inside the office environment. In fact, they are doing the similar thing. So if you're looking at the excuse me, looking at their HoloLens, right? So they are going to create a new co-working environment. They are going to bring the virtual object and they are going to bring all sorts of the human interaction into a co-working environment and then let the other people to join this kind of co-working space. Of course, they have also bylaws of the company, right? Game company. So Minecraft or the Activision, so they buy lots of the thing and they have the export. So they are also prepare new rendering algorithm for their metaverse or for their development of metaverse. If we're looking at another company, Facebook, so the Facebook they do it in reverse or another way. So they start from casual social networking, so define the communication, and this kind of computer can extend to the workspace. So you try to use Facebook during your work, and then you try to use Instagram, IG during your work. Okay. So by looking at their research and then looking at their announcement, so they are not going to only focus on the VR. They are not going to focus on the Oculus or Oculus Quest settings. In fact, they want to use the technologies to enable the other people to connect with each other. So if you're looking at here that we search hard scientists of the matter, VR, AR assistant, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So they are going to analyze the context informations and provide different agents to help you to get the topics or get the top content or even make facts during inside the metaverse. So what we are going to predict is they will also prepare another metaverse, but this one is somehow is focused on the context development, or they focus on analyze your content and push the content to you and help you to make facts and help you to connect with each other. It's just like the Pixar movie Once Gone Once, right? So they try to create this kind of new social experience to you. Of, of course, the other company, for example, Google or Elon Musk, they will also step into the market. For example, Google, we predict they will have lots of the killer application. Maybe they will do another new searching algorithm to search the spatial or temporal informations inside the mapper. They will prepare some SSO, or they will prepare some tools for you to synchronize the digital ownership so that you can exchange the information with each other. And other small game developer or content creator, they will try to create something new for the business, or they will try to create something that is related to GameFi model. So the whole picture that we predict the metaverse is somehow we have one or two big metaverse. So one metaverse for the social media, so they will push the different advertisement to your, or they would try to connect your friend with the others inside the meta. Microsoft, they will prepare another metaverse that helps you to increase the productivity inside in your office. So they will prepare a metaverse that is suitable for your work. And then there are lots of small metaverse. They will try to do some urban planning. So they will try to connect different big organizations together and then create event inside it. And there are lots of universe, okay, not metaverse, universe. And they will try to create some new experience learning, whatever is learning or whatever is entertainment experience to it. Okay, so this is the prediction, our prediction, what is metaverse, and then the trend that we have. In fact, the university, we can't build something that can replace Facebook or that can replace Microsoft. So we can do something that can embed or use or make good use of their environment. And we can also create our universe, okay, and connect with different small metaverse, for example, Sandbox, or for example, Roblox X together, and share the value with them. So we would like to ask a question. Can we do a Eduverse for our teacher and learning? So if teacher and learning is going to happen in Metaverse, so can it be something that is different from Zoom or team settings if we just set the lecture settings inside the Metaverse? So it seems it's a little bit waste the resources of Metaverse. So we are trying to think, is there any new teacher and learning activity that we can put in the metaverse and then work with the student? So we have lots of the experience in creating different virtual world metaverse in Hong Kong. So we created metaverse for UST, we created metaverse for SYU, for CAM, for PolyU, etc. Okay, so even 15 years ago, I'm a junior programmer in Second Life, and then we create the virtual world inside the Second Life. Okay, and our metaverse in Hong Kong. So we believe that metaverse will be one of the trend in teaching and learning because I would say that we are post-COVID, or can we say that we are still under COVID-19? I'm not sure, but I'm quite sure that we are post-COVID educations. So the question we would like to ask, will we come back to pure face-to-face lecture settings? our prediction is no, we can't come back to pure face-to-face lecture setting. There are two reasons. The first reason is during these 3 years, we create lots of the online teaching materials. We create lots of the online infrastructure for teaching and learning. So it acts like a catalyst. When you have lots of the resources, so it's hard to ask our students to go back to pure, come back to the physical environment and just enjoy the lecture setting. So we will not make it happen again. So yeah, in fact, if you're looking at the different surveys, so this is the survey of PolyU EDC, then this is the survey from us. Only 15% of students, they love the lecture setting or they love the face-to-face settings. Okay, so most of them, they prefer the hybrid or they prefer online teaching. Okay, so we try to estimate that after the COVID-19. So we need to carefully mix and integrate the technology, digital media, and online material together with a instructor-led activities. Okay, so yeah, learning behavior and also tons of the resources already online, so we cannot come back to pure face-to-face teaching. But we have problem in virtual learning. So somehow, if you're looking at the Teams or Zoom settings, right? So Teams and Zoom, they are good, right? So they are good for passive learning. So they are good for the handle the account, handle security, handle the lecture setting, do the record, etc., etc. But somehow they are not good for the active learning. So the student, they will not turn on their camera, they will not share their opinions, they will not share their feedback. Okay, so I would say that the peer-to-peer learning is missing inside the Teams or Zoom set. So if you're looking at the data, so lots of the students agree that interact with other students can help them to engage and learn effectively. So that means the peer-to-peer learning or active learning is really important in the university study. We think that university study is not only prepare for the public examination, it's not only for the passive learning. So university study is transfer the knowledge to the student and help them to solve the real world problem. If all the university teacher and learning is passive learning, is just watching the lecture, watching the YouTube, watching the Teams or the Zoom setting. So it's a waste of the university setting. It's a waste for us to prepare them to go outside and then prepare them to solve the real world problem. So we try to do something to help them. So 2 years ago, we tried to do something to help them to increase the active learning. So we apply the constructivism, or we call it better learning in Metaverse. So constructive or better learning, constructive teaching or better learning, it has been introduced for more than, it should be 20 years. So constructive is 1999. And then better learning, it should be around 2004 and 2005. Okay, it has been a long history. So constructive teaching, they care about the evaluations, engage, elaborate, explain, and explore. Okay, yeah, it's to maximize the active learning elements, and then they try to ask the student to build the knowledge by themselves. Okay, try to build their personal knowledge and then try to help them to be active and be social in the learning process. Okay, so this is the point of view. This 5E model is the point of view from the teacher. So you prepare the guidelines for the teacher, but it's hard to understand or it's hard to implement. So later on, someone will try to introduce, hey, we should prepare an inspiring working environment for the constructive teaching. It seems it improved a little bit, right? Inspiring work experience, but how to prepare this kind of work environment. Okay, so in our point of view, we try to do it like that. So we try to apply the game design, or we try to apply gamification inside the constructive teaching and prepare a inspiring work environment. We try to break it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. Okay, so it's just like a role-played RPG, role-play game settings. So we change our course into a role-play RPG games. So the first thing we need to do is define a game world. Okay, define a game world. A game world in RPG means that we have to define a final boss. Okay, just like here, we need to define a final boss for our student. So we want our student to have a task in a course. For example, in my course, game design and development, our task is analyze a game developer to create a video game. So this is the final boss, this is the final project, this is the final things that they need to solve. Okay. In come to SL1, so they will add like a STEM teacher and prepare STEM materials. In come 3511, they are going to prepare or evaluate a privacy, or evaluate a law statement that by using the ethical model, etc., etc. So those are the objective final project or the final boss in the RPG game. So we change the course settings, the inspiring working environment. We change this one into a journey to solve a real world problem. Okay, and then they will have the rules, they will have the role, etc. Besides, give them a mission to final boss to face. Okay, so you also need to change your teaching style. So you need to break all your teaching materials into searchable content. It's just like that. We prepare lots of the treasure, weapon, shield, map in the virtual world, and then let the student to discover by themselves. So that is RPG setting. You have the goal, and then I would say that we will have lots of the treasure, we will have lots of the weapons, lots of the things that you need to beat the final boss, and then you need to collect them, you need to finish the task, and finally you can complete your final project. Okay, so what we are going to do, we need to prepare 3 things. Okay, so the first one is the map. We say the knowledge graph. The second thing is a searchable timeline in videos. The third thing is searchable reading materials. So why we need to prepare a map knowledge graph for the RPG or for the constructive teaching in the Metaverse? Because you have lots of the knowledge, so you need to tell the student how the knowledge they are connect with each other, and how this kind of knowledge can be found in your materials. So we prepare these kind of things. And another things, we will say that when you are going to prepare the video, you cannot just prepare 3 hours lecture and then ask the student to watch the video from the first minute to the last minute. Okay, so today now now the student, they cannot watch the videos. In fact, when we looking at our record, so we prepare lots of the videos. So most likely, the student, they can only watch less than 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 43 seconds. Okay, last 8 minutes, 43 seconds in one of our course. So you have to break all this kind of video into short video, and then let them to become a searchable videos. Okay, so don't worry, you need not to do it by yourself. So we have the technique, we have the auto tab. So we have the video indexing techniques with machine learning. So when you prepare the 20 minutes videos, so we can analyze your dialogue, we can analyze your keywords, and then add the tab on the timeline of your video. So all the students, they can search throughout during the learning. And then the last thing is the PDF or PowerPoint slide. You have to, no need, right? You just implement the enterprise search. So all your teaching materials, even in the PDF, you can be searched inside the blackboard. Okay, so we try to break all our learning materials into this kind of pieces of information and ask the student to learn. Okay, so we change the passive learning into active learning. Now I'm not going to deliver a 3 hours lecture. I'm going to tell you the relationship of all the materials, and I give you tasks. Please find the correct information and compile the solution for me. Of course, we also need to implement the gameplay inside it. So inside the gameplay, we try to inside the course setting, we try to implement different game mechanisms. For example, daily tasks, urgent quest, level up system, first draw, etc., etc. So, for example, in one of our course settings, so we'll break it into topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. Okay, so this is a level up system. So you finish the level 1, and then you have level 2, level 3, etc. And for each of the topics, that means each of the small visions, so we will have the short preview. Okay, I will use around 30 minutes to explain the relationship of all the course settings. And then we will have the tutorial exercise. I will give them the tutorial exercise. They search the information on the backboard. They search the information on the internet to compile the solutions. And then with a Q&A, we will have video. We will have different settings. Then we will have the urgent quest. Okay, urgent quest. That means we have the synchronized tutorial exercise, and then ask all the students to come back, do the exercise together. Okay, do the exercise together. And this kind of setting will repeat, and repeat. So we taught lots of things that is about strategy. So we also need to talk about the implementation. So what is the metaverse that we are going to use, or we will do it? Okay. So today we have lots of the metaverse, and then we need not to do another platform for ourselves. We can find the metaverse. So there are lots of the metaverse, starting from abstract settings or to some concrete settings. So there are lots of different meaning. For example, abstract looks like a Zoom. In fact, it only allows you to move your virtual position to somewhere else. Okay. So what we are doing, so we try to create something that is 2D. I'll say that is a isometric design. Okay, so we try to create the lecture filter, we try to create a tutorial, we try to create a virtual map, and then to let them understand the meaning of the knowledge, how they can connect with each other. So inside the lecture settings, so they will have the avatars, and then it's called spatial video conferencing. So when you walk close to the other, so you will share the cams. So unlike the Zoom or unlike the team setting, so you are not going to share the cams with all the people. You just share the cams with nearby. Okay, and we also try to give them some small breakout room, so they can walk to different small breakout room and then share the information with the others and then talk with the other. So in this kind of setting, they are more willing to turn on their camera and then share the information with the other. That's pretty good. And then yeah, that is the things we think it try to solve or improve one of the settings about peer-to-peer learning. So echo to the settings of our metaverse. So we try to divide all the things into two parts, online to offline. Okay, so online we have the gather time, we have the metaverse settings, and then we will have the peer-to-peer exercise and activity. We will have the synchronized preview and Q&A sessions. And for the offline, that means how they can find the treasure, work plans, and all sorts of things. So we still use the backboard because they are familiar with the backboard, and then they can search the videos line and all sorts of things inside the backboard. Okay, so you try to echo the very beginning how we can figure out the physical settings of metaverse and the sociology settings. So the physical settings, we try to use sense of belonging. So that's why we create PolyU lecture filter tutorial again to them. For the rules of interaction, so we try to formulate them with the spatial video conferencing. So they use the virtual position to do the video conferencing. And of course, for the interaction or communication, we try to reform them into PolyU society, and then we form them into the user role is the PolyU student. You will ask, hey, can I put it in a more realistic, or can I put it into a VR or other setting? Of course, yes. The reason that we use the 2D web-based or spatial video conferencing platform, it means it because of we need to care about a large group of the target audience. Okay, so we have 200, this kind of classes we have 200, so we cannot ask all the students to buy an Oculus Quest, or we cannot ask all the students to prepare the beautiful or prepare a good graphic card. For example, this one is Minecraft, but you see that the rendering is so good, it's realistic. Why they can have this kind of realistic rendering? Because they are using a high performance GPU. Only the GPU is 12,000. So you cannot ask our student to pay 12,000 for a better realistic settings. Okay. Yeah, even you cannot ask the student to pay the Oculus Quest or to pay the cardboard. Even the cardboard is really hard to ask them to do it. So yeah, that's why we use the web platform, and then they can just use the mobile phone and then turn it on and then enjoy this kind of settings. But intervention is another part, so we'll discuss it later. We receive possible comment from the student as I feel is quite good, is 4.3 to 4.5. But if we just stop here, I would say that we cannot duplicate or we cannot repeat the teacher and learning activity to the other course, or we cannot put it into an abstract framework and then ask the other or promote this kind of teacher and learning settings to the other. So we try to do something that is related to the research, that is the evaluation part of our teaching and learning. We changed the 5E model into 5I model: immersive, insight, imagination, interaction, intelligence. Okay. So for each part, immersions, that means we want to measure the settings of our game world. Insights is measure the settings of our game worlds. Imagination is settings of role play, etc., etc., etc. This one, 5E of constructive teaching, is only from the teacher point of view. We want to change it into learner point of view and then measure the success of our project. If we just use the SFQ, it's just like we are going to measure the effectiveness or the efficiency of one staff. He or she want to change the teacher and learning, but it's hard to duplicate to it. Okay, so we use the questionnaire and then ask whether the learner experience is improved during this kind of setting. And of course, for the assignment, intelligence we measure by their assignment. Okay, we also collect their demographic data to do the evaluation. So you can see that our students, they are quite confident with their device. They have good device, stable network, etc. But yeah, you can understand they are not really confident about their learning behavior. So they may far so I would say that they are not really agree with their self-regulate, good time management, or multitask student. Satisfaction. So we measure the satisfaction of the student, and then this data is quite important because we know that which part we can improve. For example, here we know that for the insight, that means the game rule settings. So I can decrease the peer-to-peer learning. That means my and also the Q&A session. So we can change it or decrease the frequency of the peer-to-peer learning. And we know that the immersive and also the interaction is good during this kind of setting, and then it can improve the learning behavior of the student. We also measure their academic results. So throughout the face-to-face to online to blended learning, so their result is improved during the blended learning, the new approach, because they discuss more, they have more, and they have a better peer-to-peer learning, even is better than the face-to-face learning. So there are lots of different parameters. We can describe them one by one. So we try to find out some interesting points for our evaluations. So there are 2 points. One is immersions and another is interactions. Okay, so we find out that interactions and also the role setting, the immersion, they are close with each other. So if you can provide a better sense of belongings and more comfortable environment, it can improve the student-to-student interactions, and it can improve the student-to-lecturer interactions. Misery time. So there are two groups of students. One is full-time student, and other is part-time student, who is more suitable for the blended learning in Metaverse. So I guess lots of the people will say that part-time student because they can watch the videos anytime and then they can do the study anytime. But in fact, it's not true. Of course, the sample size is bad. So we want to know the diversity of the student, the learner demographic, and also the learner experience and academic result, how these three kind of data they are affecting with each other. So we try to give you some settings, or we try to give you some idea of our online settings. So we try to use the DB scan because we do not have any idea about the hierarchical settings or the reason behind all sort of things. So we use the DB scans to cast the academic result first. Group 0, higher score. Group 2, lower score. Okay. And then we find out that the active learning can improve the academic result when they enjoy the peer-to-peer learning, when they enjoy the student-to-student interactions, so the academic result is better. And it try to echo that if we can provide a better environment for them to do the peer-to-peer learning, it really helps us to improve our student result, academic result. That means we can do less and get more. Yeah, I'm one of the lazy subject lecturer in our department. We really want to learn more, so if you can, provide a more comfortable environment and better sense of belongings, okay, better environment, they can improve the academic result. And then if you can say that the student with good time management watch the videos and do the before the assignment or watch the video every week, their academic result is better. That means from this kind of data, so you have to break the videos or the small tasks. Now I break the small task into 3, topic 1, topic 2, and topic final. So you have to decrease into a more frequency assessment. So the frequency of the assignment should be decreased. Frequency of the assignment should be increased so that they can push them to watch the video before doing the assignment. We want to extend this kind of setting to other departments, so we connect with different departments to see this kind of better learning in Metaverse can be used in different expertise instead of using in engineering student, comm student. We want to see more about it. So that is the next step in our blended learning. So we have built 2D, we have built 3D, we have built the VR platforms. We are connect with sandbox, and we will go. We will do something that is fossil settings, and we have connect. We have do lots of the videos, so we can analyze the dialogues from the student. We can analyze the quality of peer-to-peer learning. So our next step, we want to analyze the peer-to-peer learning. Okay, we want to analyze whether the student can use the keyword or they are engaged inside the lesson. So we'll apply the GameFi concept into it and help to students to do some active planning. So we talk about GameFi, and then we also want to go for a little bit about the GameFi in the university. So if you want to do a better settings about the Metaverse, so the visualization of interaction is not the only thing that you need to mention inside your Metaverse settings. Another thing is GameFi. GameFi means the game finance or pay to earn concept. That means the things that you do during the games that you will get reward, okay, and then you get money into it. In fact, in our school, we have implemented GameFi for 3 or 4 years, okay, starting before the social movement or before the COVID-19. We build green coin apps, okay. So the student can be rewarded, they can get the physical reward, okay, so they can give, they have different gifts, they can get different coupons if they do something good, okay, so if they can do the BYOB or they can do some sort of things that is related to the sustainability, they can get the coins and reward. Okay, so we have collect lots of the information, and then we find that their user experience or their user behavior can be changed throughout the game file or throughout the gamification. We try to extend this kind of idea and then build another apps called exercise is medicine. Okay, so we build apps and then the student watch the fitness videos, and later on we are doing, so they will try to use the camera to capture their gesture, okay, do some exercise. So if they do the exercise every day, we will give you the coins and then they will be rewarded. So throughout we have launched this app in 2022, and then up to now we have 300 active users in it, and we are monitoring their physical wellness, their physical fitness. So the whole picture of our Metaverse setting is we will build the visualizations of the teacher and learning activity for also 2D, 3D, 360 degree plus depth, etc. And we will also build the game file. So we have built the green cons with wellness cons. We are doing mental health cons, and the next step will be active cons inside it. So we will have a platform, gamification platform, blockchain as a service. I would say that cons wallet, blockchain wallet, to exchange different cons together and facilitate whole person education, so that they know what is the meaning of humanity, physical development, social, spiritual, intelligence, etc. So we want to know how the different attributes is affecting with each other and how we can build the synergy effect to it. Yes, yeah, we do not have lots of time about the intervention in VR, but I will still go through a little bit. So we create lots of different apps in intervention. The things that we are doing with, yes, we are still using this kind of model. So we will have the learning problem, and then we will use the technology in intervention solution, and we want to ask what is the things we need to measure, and we are going to ask 3 questions about the intervention in VR. So are you going to do a review and improvement, or are you going to do a monitor and support? So you use the GameFi and we care the usability and engagement, or are you going to find some new HCI or motivate your user to do the intervention? So we have another problem called discovery. So throughout these things, so we build lots of the different interesting idea about the interventions to help different group of people, and then we will use the Mocha traditional rate, right? RBMT, NCSE, CVI, SVI. We also use some cutting edge method to evaluate the evaluation. So we use the VAE, and then we use the latent space to try to find out the solutions for the intervention. So which one is the most important figure to I'll say that from the to push the user from the normal situation to a high risk situation. So that is our work in behavior analysis, and then our next step in intervention. Yes, we are going to do the animal-computer interface. So we will combine with the mass RCNN and chatbot together with real animals, and then the real animal will talk with the elderly, so that they will try to take care of the elderly and then do the intervention with the elderly. Yeah, thank you for your time, and this is the Q&A now.